Game UnCrafter is here to fulfill all of your World of Warcraft exploration needs. This time with help from a subscriber, though I can't really show the person's name. It's a bit, well, you can infer what the name is. You're watching Game UnCrafter. And today is yet another glitch video in World of Warcraft. We've got a very interesting topic today. It's the first video recommended by a subscriber. I can't always make videos like this, but I wanted to test out this recommended explorer. The subscriber mentioned to stick to the right mountains just after entering the Ghostlands portal. That's all he mentioned. Was he right, or was he just messing with me? Speaking of subscribing, the channel is growing fairly steadily. All the support is greatly helping out. If you would like to show your own support, liking the video helps out a ton, commenting lets me know what you liked or areas that you would like to see, and subscribing is
a paltry task.
Well, I did just that. I jumped right on over to the Ghostlands portal and I attempted to climb the mountains, and I failed, and I failed again and again and again, but eventually, when I started nearing Zul'Aman, I did find an area that allowed me to travel further into the mountain. Right when I got to a good vantage point, I knew that I was in for a treat. I started flying over towards the glitched textures, but I made sure to be careful as I didn't want to make any rash decisions when I decided to jump. I also took in the scenery as it is quite beautiful here. I jumped over to the top of the Zul'Aman wall, and as I was walking alongside it, my game freaked out, and immediately I got very nervous if I was going to be able to perform this exploration. I had to reset my game completely and then made a bold decision to continue. Thankfully, I was able to jump down and carry on. When we jumped down, we discovered the Amani Mountains. Here, I hit our first invisible barrier directly above the instance portal. This is where I'm going to recommend being the best exploration class on the entire planet. It's probably best to be a demon hunter with Vynfir as the covenant of choice, and Blood Elf as the race, as we are by far the highest in all of Azeroth. I recommend this because there are dozens of invisible barriers all throughout the zone we are going to explore, and I had to use Door of Shadows and Metamorphosis multiple times throughout my exploration. This first barrier was fairly easy to get past, and I continue on. Immediately, I noticed some more Amani ruins in the distance. Already, this place is looking more like it's going to be pretty great to explore. I feel pretty good about this and fly towards the ruins. The textures aren't too bad, but the ruins do look very strange. Thankfully they are solid and I walk around them. The wall after the ruin is quite colorful and makes it look like I'm about to discover some more Amani ruins. And of course, before I can do that, I hit another barrier. This one here proved especially difficult, and I was not able to get past it without walking around the area quite a bit in order to continue onwards. I then hit a second barrier immediately afterwards. It was definitely proving to be fairly difficult to traverse the area. Finally, I was able to use Door of Shadows here and was finally able to continue up the mountain. I got up to this point, and you guessed it, another barrier. Goodness! I've encountered enough barriers to block off the construction in St. Louis's Interstate 270. Ridiculous! I had to pull out Metamorphosis here, and thankfully, I did make some leeway. Some, not a lot. I clipped slightly into the wall at this point, and well, it looks like we're about to be able to explore what looks like a primitive version of the instance Zul'Aman. Thankfully, the barrier wasn't too bad to get past, and I could use Door of Shadows since Door of Shadows works really well on non-natural terrain. Finally, I can move on. We are now in a very strange version of Zul'Aman, and I find a building that's fully lit up. There's a bunch of troll mummies and just a really cool area in general. I did look through a bit of the Zul'Aman instance, and the areas look fairly identical, except that this version is gloomy and not as lush. The instance version has bright, vivid greens and multiple massive trees, and this version is bare, decrepit, and just kind of ugly in general. I imagine this is what the place looks like after the champions would finish off the Amani trolls. I try to get past this log, but my goodness, there's so many barriers here. So instead, you can head to the right over here, and there's a bunch of ruins in this area, including a building here with a closed door. At this point, I looked at the map and noticed that according to it, I'm technically somewhere in the ocean. Whoops, at least there's no fatigue here. I walked over to this weird statue and it's pretty darn cool, and here's another massive building with no apparent way in, but it is pretty cool to explore the courtyard in front of it. You can kind of see little flickers of light from the inside. I didn't really try my best to get inside of the building, but if you guys can get in there, please let me know. I then traveled to the south part of the ruins and found this platform. Definitely need to explore this little area. I traversed the lower area and there's a few buildings down here and some nests which I think are part of a boss battle, I can't remember. But either way, I continue, and that's about it for the main levels of exploration in the Zul'Aman ruins in the Amani Mountains outside of the Ghostlands. If anyone knows if there are any other significant differences to the real instance, let me know. I'm not super familiar with the place and I cannot say for sure what is or what is not included in the instance and in this area. Here's where I ran into a few more issues. It took a bit to get back into the area, but now it's going to take just as long to get back out. Great! I'll skip ahead to where I actually found a way past the invisible barriers. When I finally broke out of the Zul'Aman area, I decided to head due south and just scope out the rest of the place. It's very beautiful and I love the aesthetic. I made a brave choice to climb along these mountains to see if there are any other large areas worthy of exploring in detail, but I decided that there's really not too much in these lower levels to explore, except for some weird textures. I'll show a little clip of me traversing the rest of this area. Definitely feel free to skip ahead if you using chapters if you've already seen this area, or if you just don't care. I mean, it's up to you. Eventually I get to a point where I accidentally fall and decided that it was probably as good a time as any to explore the outer edge of the out of bounds area. One cool thing I want to point out is this really strange chasm in the water. It's pretty cool. It's like there's massive chunks of untextured zone here. Also watch out for fating. There's quite a bit of it in this little ocean area. There doesn't seem to be anything of interest underwater, but again, if someone knows anything specific about the underwater area here, just let me know and I'll try to check it out. Another interesting point is that you can see plague buildings on the ledge to the right, and eventually I hit the barrier before crossing into the Eversong Woods. I traversed the outer edge of the area and kind of just taken all the beauty. So for such a massive area, the Amani Mountains contain a ton of flat textures and oceans filled with fatigue. Hard to explore those, but exploring Zul'Aman was worth the time and effort. Thanks again to Salty.
Wow.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll be back in the Caverns of Time in the next episode of World of Warcraft Glitches. Let me know if I'm missing out on anything crazy or if you'd like to see a specific area that can be explored. I plan to continue making these videos for a long time. So, Game UnCrafter. I have no idea what that ending was, but anyway, that's it.